मनमोहन सिंह पीसी। हेलो। हाँ बोलो। हाँ जी। नहीं भाई। ओके ओके। बोलिए। बाय। हेलो हेलो।
परम श्रद्धेय पूर्व वडाप्रधान परम आदरणीय डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी, कांग्रेसना वरिष्ठ नेता राजस्थानना पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री परम आदरणीय अशोक गहलोत जी,
ओके। हाँ जी।
वरिष्ठ नेता प्रमोद तिवारी जी, हर्षवर्धन जी,
हाँ जी।
राजा ब्रार जी, एनएसयूआईना अध्यक्ष અને મીડિયાના મિત્રો, 2017ની ચૂંટણીના પ્રથમ ચરણનો 9મી ડિસેમ્બરે મતદાન થવાનું છે ત્યારે સ્વાભાવિક રીતે 22 વર્ષના ભારતીય જનતા પાર્ટીના કુશાસનથી પ્રજા ત્રસ્ત થઈ ગઈ છે। ચૂંટણી ભારતીય જનતા પાર્ટી અને ગુજરાતની જનતાની વચ્ચે છે। જનતાએ ભાજપને જાકારો આપવાનું નક્કી કર્યું છે। કોંગ્રેસ ગુજરાતની પ્રજાની પડખે ઊભી છે। 22 વર્ષમાં અનેક પ્રશ્નોનું નિરાકરણ કરવાને બદલે ભારતીય જનતા પાર્ટીએ પ્રશ્નો વધાર્યા છે। રોજગારીની વાત હોય, શિક્ષણની વાત હોય, આરોગ્યની વાત હોય, મોંઘવારીની વાત હોય, કાયદો અને વ્યવસ્થાની વાત હોય, કોઈ પણ પ્રકારે નિષ્ફળ ગયા પછી ચૂંટણીમાં હાર થવાની બીક અને ભયના કારણે ભારતીય જનતા પાર્ટીના નેતાઓ બફાટ કરે છે, બેફામ બોલે છે, જાતિવાદ કોમવાદ ભડકાવવાની કોશિશ કરી રહ્યા છે। વાતો વિકાસની કરે છે પણ મૂળ વાત જાતિવાદ તરફ લઈ જઈ રહ્યા છે। કોંગ્રેસે નવસર્જન ગુજરાતનો નારો આપ્યો છે। કોંગ્રેસ ગુજરાતની પ્રજાના હ્યુમન ડેવલપમેન્ટ ઇન્ડેક્સ સાથે હેપીનેસ ઇન્ડેક્સની વાત કરે છે। અમારી પાસે નક્કર કાર્યક્રમો છે અને એ કાર્યક્રમો આધારિત અમે ચૂંટણી લડવા જઈ રહ્યા છીએ। परम आदरणीय डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी આજે સુરતમાં વ્યાપારીઓ, બુદ્ધિજીવીઓ, ઉદ્યોગપતિ અને સૌને સવારે સંબોધન કર્યું હતું। હું વિનંતી કરીશ પરમ आदरणीय डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी ने कि आपने संबोधन करें।
श्री अशोक गहलोत जी, श्री भरत सिंह सोलंकी जी, श्री हर्षवर्धन, ladies and gentlemen of the press, I am here for the day and I have already addressed one meeting of businessmen, intellectuals and other active workers. I'm going to make a statement, and then if you would like, you can ask some questions. Gujarat is blessed by having an exceptionally enterprising people. Gujaratis have gone out from the state to many other parts of the country and indeed all over the world, and they have done exceptionally well everywhere, and the country is proud of the achievements of the people of Gujarat. In this context, I must say that I was really surprised when Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi said the Congress and the Congress-led central governments have always hated Gujaratis. Nothing can be farther from the truth. I realize that many things are said in election times, but when they are gross distortions, they need to be rebutted. The most famous Gujarati whom the Congress and indeed the whole nation reveres is of course Mahatma Gandhi. His name is reproduced on every note in our country, so everyone sees it every day. The next most famous Gujarati is Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who enjoys a very special position in our freedom struggle and who played a glorious role in the integration of our country after independence. Jawaharlal Nehru and Sardar Patel worked hand in hand to consolidate the gains of our freedom. Nothing is gained, as is often attempted by Modi ji, to pit the two leaders, great leaders, apart. Shri Morarji Desai was another great leader of the Congress party, though he left the party in 1969. I had the privilege of working with him when he was the Prime Minister in the Janata Party government in 1977 to 1979. I also worked very closely with Shri H.M. Patel, another distinguished son of Gujarat, who served as Finance Minister in the government of Shri Morarji Desai. Let me also express my anguish at another remark Prime Minister Modi ji is fond of making. He has often said that nothing was done in the 70 years before he became Prime Minister. I ask him, does he really mean this? I would ask him to consider the following facts. Life expectancy at our independence was 31%, and it is now 71 years. Indians are living 40 years longer. Is this nothing? Literacy was 18% at independence. It is now 76%. Is it nothing? India did not have food to feed itself and depended on American food aid in the early years of our independence. For many years now, we have been self-sufficient and we are even exporting food. From being viewed as a slow-growing economy, we have for many years now been regarded as one of the fastest-growing developing countries. We have, ladies and gentlemen, still a long way to go in many areas. I am not asserting that all these achievements which I have mentioned are only because of the Congress party. They are first and foremost the achievements of the Indian people. Governments have helped and indeed played a crucial role in many areas, and Congress governments have done their bit. We have had many non-Congress governments in this state, and we have had both Congress-led coalition and BJP-led coalitions in the center. They have all contributed to build this great country. I wish the Prime Minister would find more dignified ways of impressing crowds and seeking their votes without resorting to statements which denigrate our country as a whole. I must also point out that while denigrating the past, the Prime Minister also tends to exaggerate what he will do in the future. He was recently quoted in the press as saying that India will become a developed country by 2022. I would be the happiest person in the world if he can deliver that. But is he really aware of what he implies? Our per capita income, ladies and gentlemen, is now about $5,000 based on what is called purchasing power parity. At the lower end of developed countries, we have Greece with a per capita income of around $25,000. That is 5 times our per capita income level. To increase our income 5-fold in 5 years, we would have to achieve a growth rate of 35% per year. No country has ever done this. Is Modi ji promising he will do that? Let us consider what the BJP has actually done. It came to power in 2014 at a time when the country was going through a slowdown. Our government was much criticized for this slowdown, and we accepted that there was indeed a slowdown. We explained that some of this was due to global factors and some was due to our inability to resolve domestic problems. What has happened to the growth rate of the economy since the NDA came to power? In the 10 years of UPA 1 and 2, when I was the Prime Minister, we produced 7.8% GDP growth on average. This includes the slowdown in the last 2 years of our government. When the present government took over, they said they would take growth to 8 to 10%. Modi ji so far has produced an average of only 7.3% in the first 3 years. GDP growth in the first quarter of 2017-18 fell to 5.7%. July-September quarter has registered a growth rate of 6.3%. This is to be welcomed, but it is too early to conclude that this represents a reversal of the declining trend observed in the previous 5 years. Some economists believe that the CSO, which released the figures day before yesterday, has not adequately captured the impact of demonetization and GST on the informal sector that accounts for about 30% of our economy. Commenting on the strong growth in the second quarter in manufacturing, the economist at the National Institute of Public Finance, Mr. Govind Rao, has said, there is, however, a problem here. We are calculating manufacturing growth based on corporate results. This does not take into account the small and medium sector which suffered the most after demonetization and the launch of GST. A couple of big worries remain. Farm sector growth fell to 1.7% from 2.3% in the previous quarter and 4.1% in the same quarter last year. We have to remember that this is despite the fact that the government has front-loaded its spending on projects, forcing up the fiscal deficit to a lot of cash money. Many small businesses had to close down and lay off labor. I hear that a lot of labor had to migrate back from Surat. I've spent a lot of time on demonetization because it worries me that in a world where economic policy is becoming increasingly complex, we are not developing a culture where policy options are critically assessed and criticisms offered or listened to take corrective action. If leaders only want to be praised, they will hear nothing but praise. This is not a recipe for Vikas. I now come to GST, where implementation is causing problems. I agree that a well-designed GST would be a genuine act of reform. It was an idea which the UPA government initiated. Unfortunately, at the time we were pushing for it, Modi ji was one of the strongest opponents. I recognize that in politics it is normal for those in the opposition to oppose. I gave him full credit that when he came to power, he saw the logic of GST and changed his mind. However, apart from the problem of multiple rates, there are loopholes in the administrative arrangements for the implementation of GST. In particular, small businesses, traders and exporters have serious concerns which need to be adjusted. Small scale and middle scale businesses, their problems require serious attention. It is well known that small and middle businessmen are the principal generators of employment in our country. If they do not prosper, we will not get the growth of employment we all want. The government should think hard about whether it is doing enough for them. I fear that demonetization, poor implementation of the GST, and the rise of tax terrorism under the guise of controlling corruption has seriously damaged the investment climate facing small businesses. The lack of credit from public sector banks to small business sector has added to their problems. The government therefore needs to think hard about what the central government and what the state governments can do to change the business climate facing small-scale industry. We have a number of nice sounding slogans such as Start Up India, Stand Up India and Skill India, but they are not backed by effective policies on the ground. In fact, the policies should come first before the slogans invented to describe these policies. Slogans come first and efforts to define policy come much later. This is not helpful at all. I should say a few words about agriculture. With 50% of our population dependent on agriculture, they are generally the poorest people. The welfare of the Aam Aadmi depends crucially upon the fate of our agriculture. The average growth of agricultural GDP in the first 3 years of the Modi government is only 1.8% per year. This is half the average agricultural growth of 3.7% which we have achieved in our 10 years under the UPA. Modi ji has offered the slogan of doubling farm income in 5 years. Doubling in 5 years requires an annual growth rate of farm income of 14%. I do not know if the doubling was meant to include the effects of inflation. If we were building in inflation at say 4%, it will still require a growth rate of 10% in real terms in farm income. I have seen no program that would achieve such a growth for the country's farmers as a whole. Perhaps this is another election jumla, but I feel that the government would be well advised to come forward with a credible plan that would achieve a growth rate of this order. I would not like, ladies and gentlemen, to end on a negative note. So let me say that the recent announcement about recapitalization of public sector banks is much needed and is welcome. It should be accompanied by a clear statement about the manner of recapitalization and most of all the reforms the government proposes to bring in to prevent the recurrence of those problems in future. There is no justification for delay on these issues. They have known something is needed to be done along these lines, and they should unveil the plans for public discussion as quickly as possible. Let us not repeat the experience with the GST of not consulting adequately in advance and repenting later on. Thank you.
Do you have any question?
Hello. Good afternoon, sir. Siddhant this side from Times Now. So we have a special question for you. Last evening we had a news break where General Secretary of Maharashtra Congress has come out on our television and have said that everything is not fair in Congress as far as elections are concerned. He clearly came out with the audio recording his conversation with MP Manish Tiwari, and in that Manish Tiwari has clearly said that Congress is a proprietorship. It runs on proprietorship format. Not only this, sir, let me complete. Not only this, sir, I mean, this was his allegation, and he said that he is not allowed to contest election against Rahul Gandhi, sir. Your take on it, after these allegations, do you really think that Congress should go out with the election?
I am not aware of the statement that you have mentioned, but the Congress is a democratic party and everybody has a right to say what they want to say. But what ultimately is the decision will be taken by the Congress High Committee.
Did you talk to Sonia ji regarding this complaint of Shehzad Poonawala?
Next question.
Please, one person, one question. Please, and question short. Question shortly, please.
Any member of the Congress party can approach whosoever he wants to approach. No, it's a different thing that we cannot agree to everything that each member says. But we are a democratic party. The Congress Working Committee meets very frequently, and if there are any problems, they are all discussed within the Working Committee.
Sir, namaskar.
Excuse me, a little louder, please. We are not able to hear anything at the back. We are just not able to hear anything.
सर, सूरत की टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री का इश्यू है। जीएसटी जो है वो सीमलेस को आधारित टैक्स है। तो जो वीविंग इंडस्ट्री है वो जब 5% जॉब वर्क पे टैक्स भरता है तो सर उसमें रिफंड की कोई जोगवाई नहीं है, जबकि 8,000 कमोडिटी ऐसी है जिसमें रिफंड मिल रहा है, लेकिन अकेला पावर लूम इंडस्ट्री ऐसी है जिसको रिफंड नहीं मिल रहा है। सर ये किस प्रकार की ये जोगवाई है सर?
I agree that there is a problem there and it should be addressed.
सर एक सवाल ये था कि आपने इस तरह से बात की थी कि जो नर्मदा डैम है उसके रिलेटेड मोदी जी ने जब सीएम थे यहाँ पे तब आपसे कोई बात नहीं की थी, लेकिन अभी उन्होंने जो पब्लिक मीट की थी उन्होंने कहा था कि मनमोहन सिंह जी झूठ बोल रहे हैं, मैंने बार बार उनसे यही मुद्दे पे यही टॉपिक पे बात की थी।
I don't want to enter into any public controversy with the Prime Minister. I am not aware of what you are saying. He said. If he has said, I would be very happy to discuss it over with him.
डॉक्टर साहब दो सवाल हैं,
एक ही पूछिए।
क्योंकि पहले का आप जवाब देंगे नहीं, फिर भी मैं पूछ लेता हूं। दरअसल प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी को लेकर के एक ट्वीट किया गया कांग्रेस के ट्विटर हैंडल से चाय वाला करके, तो उसको एक बड़ा भावनात्मक मुद्दा प्रधानमंत्री ने खुद भी बनाया, लेकिन उन्हीं की पार्टी के राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष ने आपको लेकर के नमूना शब्द का इस्तेमाल किया। तो क्या आप उनको किसी प्रकार का जवाब देना चाहेंगे? इस पर आपकी क्या प्रतिक्रिया है? पहला सवाल।
I don't want to personalize our relations, and therefore, whatever is being said, I recognize that in election time, lots of things are said, in haste, but I have always believed, and that has been my consistent stand, that we should not personalize our differences to a point that it generates unnecessary bitterness.
परमिशन दे सर, एक और सवाल है कि अगर सर परमिट करें सर, बाय परमिशन सर, अर्थव्यवस्था की जो हालत है उसकी तस्वीर आपने सामने रखी है, लेकिन प्रधानमंत्री मोदी कहते हैं कि उनकी सरकार पर कोई दाग नहीं है 3 सालों में। इसका आप किस तरीके से जवाब देंगे?
I don't want to go into that area. What is being said about certain companies with which the president of the party is connected, his son is mentioned, there is some problem. At least I think the BJP needs to clarify its position, not merely wish away these differences or these things which are mentioned. I am not saying that these are facts, but when some people are talking about these issues, it is very important that, like Caesar's wife, I think top people should be free of criticism.
सर, सूरत के कपड़ा व्यापारियों को जीएसटी में जो दिक्कत हो रही है उसको एड्रेस करने के लिए आप क्या सुझाव देंगे?
This is a complicated matter, but I have mentioned in my statement that there are problems with regard to, first of all, there are too many rates. There is too high the ceiling rate with sasses, and there is also problems in implementation, administration. The GST system itself has some problems which need to be addressed.
Sir, Ayushman from ANI this side. Sir, Prime Minister Modi, while the elections comes, he always shows his background as a humble person. You, in your earlier statement when you met, you also said that you are from a humble background, but you never mentioned in the public discourse. How do you respond to this? You have never said this in the public discourse that you come from a humble background and all.
Well, I don't want to mention my humble background. I don't want the country to take a pity on the basis of my background. I do not think I would like to enter into any competition with Prime Minister Modi ji on this particular matter.
सर, कपड़ा व्यापारियों की समस्या के बारे में एक क्वेश्चन है कि कपड़ा मार्केट में जो कपड़ा व्यापारी हैं उन पे जीएसटी 5% लगा है, जबकि आज तक आजाद भारत में कभी भी उस पे कपड़े पे टैक्स नहीं था। यार्न और उसके जो केमिकल और कलर्स थे उन पे ही टैक्स था। लास्ट जो जीएसटी की काउंसिल मीटिंग आसाम में हुई थी उसके अंदर 6 वस्तुओं पे जीएसटी से मुक्त किया था। तो व्यापारियों का ये है कि क्या कांग्रेस, जब राहुल गांधी आए थे मार्केट में, कि कपड़े पर जो जीएसटी है उसमें संशोधन किया जा सकता है, जैसे 6 वस्तुओं पे जीएसटी मुक्त किया, कर मुक्त किया, तो क्या कपड़े पे भी, आप तो अर्थशास्त्री हैं, वित्त मंत्री भी रहे हैं, रिजर्व बैंक के गवर्नर भी रहे हैं, तो क्या ऐसा प्रावधान या ऐसा चीज हो सकता है कि कपड़े से जीएसटी मुक्त हो सकता है?
Well, I'm not an expert in matters relating to the GST, and I would not like to comment on what needs to be done. I have listed the major problems that need to be addressed, and if you have mentioned, we need a mechanism to sort out all these problems. Whosoever has grievances, I think the GST Council should be asked to carefully examine those problems and find credible, pragmatic solution to these problems.
सर, एक बार प्रश्न है, एक सर, नोटबंदी के बाद हमारे प्रधानमंत्री बार बार ये स्टेटमेंट दे रहे हैं कि लगभग 2 लाख से भी ज्यादा फर्जी कंपनियां हमने बंद कर दी है, कोई आवाज नहीं आई। उनका इशारा है कि जो आपके यूपीए शासन के 10 वर्ष में जो कौभांड हुए उसके व्यवहार वो कंपनियों द्वारा हो रहे थे, तो आपके ध्यान में कंपनी आई थी या नहीं आई थी?
Well, there were some problems and effective action was taken against the guilty people after proper examination, and therefore I have nothing more to add to that. In our time, if people committed some thing which was wrong, there was effective action taken. I am not sure what action Modi ji has in mind. He never